Hello chaps and chapesses, and this week we're going to talk about the new Hardy MTX-S. When one thinks about Hardy reels, we think about classical design, don't we? Well, last year they slightly broke the mold with their new MTX series. So this is a blend of modern technology and stylish industrial design. So what exactly does that mean? It means they've put carbon fiber into it. Here at last, we're utilizing carbon fiber not only in our fly rods, but also in the structure of our reels. Make them lighter, make them stronger. Do we need to make them lighter and stronger, I hear you say? Of course we do. Why? Because we can. So last year, I got hold of some MTXs and I used one on the river here at the chalk streams. And then I used this slightly larger size one and I took it to Iceland and put it through its paces for salmon and some very large sea trout on the Laxud coast, where I have to say it performed admirably. It's a really interesting reel because it's really light. That is, I mean, it's actually unusually light. So you pick it up and you go, ooh, wow, that's really light. What I love about it is this carbon fiber detailing on it. So the structure of the reel, they actually put carbon fiber into. It's got a lovely drag knob on the back, which is a 340-degree turn, just the way I like it. And it's color coded, so you know exactly whereabouts it is. And it is actually quite a large arbor reel, which those who have always given Hardy a bad name for being old-fashioned, it is quite a big arbor. It's got a very fast rate of retrieve. Now that was pretty useful in certain situations. And unlike a lot of other very wide arbor reels, it is not too wide on the cage. And that actually prevents it actually overlapping itself. So the original MTX was a bit of a groundbreaker, and the drag system in it is a good solid drag. You know, it's got some power to it, but it's not anything that you kind of would consider really using in saltwater. You might do a little bit of coastal fishing with it or something like that, but it's not really something that I wanted to take into the salt until now. So this year, Hardy's came out with a new MTX-S, and this stands for Matrix Sealed Drag System. So now they have made a drag system which is completely sealed. It's a series of carbon fiber plates built into a drag, and the whole thing is completely waterproof. At last, now we have a reel that we can actually put in the salt. So now we can have the benefits of the incredible lightweight ability, but also we have a sealed drag. So what's it like? Let's find out. So this is the MTX-S. So the sealed drag system you can see inside, and if you compare it to the MTX in size, you've got a similar size, you've got a similar structure, but what they've changed is the structure on the back of the reel. A four-pronged structure on the back of the reel, which is going to give you better strength. The drag knob has changed from being plastic on the MTX to knurled aluminium on the MTX-S, which I really, really like. And I like this chrome detailing. I think it's quite pretty, but I personally quite like that kind of coppery color. So when you pick it up and you turn it, this is a much smoother drag. It's a much smoother drag. Should we do the sound test? So what does the MTX-S stand for me? It stands for MTX Smooth. It's a little bit different, and I quite like things which are a little bit different, and I really like the lightweight feel of it and the large arbor with the quick retrieve. Like the MTX, they will make this in 3 sizes. It'll be a 345, a 567, or a 789, which means at last I can take this into the salt and I can use it on my bonefish rigs. I don't think I'd go any higher than that, but I think for matched with a 7 weight, it'll be absolutely perfect for bonefish. Inside the drag is a multi-plated drag system, which is going to be able to apply maximum pressure. And funny enough, it's 6 to 8% lighter than the original MTX. So when we think about fly reels, what are the things that we really want to know about? We want to know about drag. Is it going to stop the species that we're after? We want to know about startup inertia, and that's pretty important because if it starts up really jerkily, that's not a good way because quite often you can break fish off on light tippets. We think about the capacity of the reel. How much backing can we put on it, and will it match up with our normal fly lines that we're looking to use? And finally, we think about weight, and we can always make things lighter. It just means that the rod will be more comfortable in your hand over a long period of time, and a lightweight reel just makes it a more pleasurable fishing experience. When it comes to testing reels, many people have their own methods, and I, from a vaguely scientific background, like to conduct a lab test. Now, those of you who have watched this channel before understand that my lab test is a little bit different to other people's lab tests. So without further ado, let us go and put the MTX-S through its paces. You see, when I conduct a lab test, I like to use a lab. Hello Basil, are you going to be my lab test today? Are you going to help me out? Are you? Okay, should we go and try it? You see, the reason I like to conduct a lab test like this is I think that the startup inertia of a big, large Labrador is not too dissimilar to quite a big fish. It's powerful and it goes off with quite a bang. It's a really good way to test out what the drag on a reel is like if you don't happen to be standing on a salt flat at the time. So with that said, let's get set up and go and see if we can give this a crack. So I have completed my lab test. I found that to be a very interesting exercise. In all seriousness, I think the MTX-S is definitely an upgrade on the MTX. The drag is much, much smoother. It's noticeably smoother. It's got very little startup inertia. The drag kicks in very, very quickly. And the other thing I found is that actually, when I started to turn up the drag, I could apply really quite a lot of pressure on the old dog. I know that's probably not the most scientific test in the world, but for me, it does a pretty good job. It'll give me a good indication as to what this reel is going to perform like on the flats. And I'm really looking forward to getting it out onto the flats in the Seychelles and Belize this year. And then we'll be able to really see what it's made of. All that really leaves me to do is to thank my fantastic lab assistant. Basil is a good boy. Did you do a good lab test? Did you? So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like the MTX-S? Or are you going to be upgrading this summer? As always, I hope you found that video useful, or if not useful, then vaguely amusing. But either way, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.